everybody, welcome to another episode of Off the Shelf. It's March, and March is spring, right? Well, we're getting there anyway. The snow is melting, it's getting warmer, and I am getting really tired of all of the beige comfort foods that I eat in the winter. And by the time we get to this time of year, I want all of the vegetables. So today we're going to be talking about vegetarian cookbooks because they give you so many creative options and ways to use vegetables. And I think that's something that a lot of us struggle with if we've kind of always cooked with the meat as the center of the meal and then the vegetables are just kind of a side. It can be difficult to kind of figure out ways to use vegetables without just, substituting in tofu or whatever. And so I think vegetarian cookbooks and vegan cookbooks are really great to kind of fire your imagination when it comes to creating new things and incorporating vegetables into your diet in a new way. So I've got some awesome options for you. We're going to start out with Feast. Isn't that beautiful? I just think this book is pretty. First off, all cookbooks need to have pretty pictures inside, otherwise what is the point? If you don't show me what the food is going to look like when I'm done, I'm not interested in making it, right? So the cover of this got me right away, and then you've got gorgeous pictures inside. This one is organized by the meal type. So chapter 1 is breakfast and brunch, chapter 2 is little meals, chapter 3 salads and sides. Pretty standard for a cookbook, but there's lots of interesting things in here. You got pastas, obviously, vegetarian meals. Pasta plays a big part in that, I think. But there's also things like this back 40 slab pie, which looks sort of like a quiche, but better. And it's got all that cheese on top. Yum. So good. So there's lots of interesting options in here. Definitely a good one to just sort of browse through. Check out that sandwich. Oh my gosh. Definitely take a look at Feast. Then we have the new Vegetarian South. And this one is, again, it's set up kind of by what the dish is. So is it a side dish? Is it an appetizer, a main dish, whatever? And basically they just took vegetarian versions. They created vegetarian versions of classic southern dishes. So like this one is chicken and dumplings, but it's not chicken, right? So this is the sort of thing where they literally are just subbing out the meat for the ones that had it, like roasted cauliflower etouffee. I mean, that looks amazing. And if you already like etouffee, then definitely give that a shot. So if you're looking for something where you're just going to kind of sub out, this is definitely a good option for that, especially if you're into Southern food, which who isn't? It's amazing. One of my favorite things. Then we have Ultimate Veg from Jamie Oliver. And again, a bunch of really pretty pictures in this one. It is also set up by like the type of food, not the meals, but curries and stews, soups and sandwiches, things like that. And you've got a really good variety of things. You've got puff pastry pizza. Let's see. Always the pasta. And salads. You're going to get lots of salads. Proper baked beans. So, with this one, it's Jamie Oliver. He's British. You're definitely going to see some British influences here, not only as like British foods, but a lot of the other countries that have been part of the, British Empire or Commonwealth at some point in time. So Indian influences, things like that. You're going to see a lot of that sort of stuff in here, and what is really vegetarian, or not, it is vegetarian, but British cuisine now. So this is a really, really good one to take a look at if you're interested in those sort of multicultural influences. Then I've got the Modern Cook's Year, and this one is broken up by season instead of by type of food. So I think that's really helpful when you are shopping for produce and being able to know what's in season and looking at recipes and knowing that, like, okay, it's the beginning of spring. I'm only going to pick recipes that have things that are going to be in season now. I think that's going to make your life easier than, picking something that's got like fall vegetables and you didn't even realize it, because how in tune are we with seasonality? Like, not at all. So this one gives you that information on what's in season when, and then gives you recipes for the things that are in season for the different times of year. So again, there's lots of fun pictures and stuff. They also have a really cool thing in this one that I like. They'll pick something like, this one is soups, and they give you sort of a map on how to build your own. So it's like a choose your own adventure for soups, or I think there's one for salads. And so it's like, okay, you're going to start out with your base layer, and then you're going to choose an herb and a spice. And so it gives you kind of every step of the way to make your own. And I think that's an awesome idea. It's something that I haven't seen before in other cookbooks. And this one has gotten a fair bit of use in our collection. So other people have really used it and enjoyed it. I definitely think if you're looking for seasonal vegetarian, this isn't a good option for you. And we have to talk about Eastern cuisines, because lots of different Asian cuisines very heavily feature vegetables. Certainly not entirely vegetarian or vegan, but it's very, very easy to remove meat from Chinese and Thai and those kinds of cuisines. The cool thing about this book, it is vegan. They actually broke it up by country. So you have a section on India and a section on Thailand and a section on Japan. So instead of like, here's all of the dumplings or whatever, like, you can say, I want to cook Indian food, and look up the section on Indian food. And again, I really like that concept. I think that's a really cool idea, to be able to look through it in that way. And oh my gosh, coconut kaya custard. Don't you want that? I want that. That looks amazing. Like, toast is a food group for me anyway, but then it's sweet potato and coconut milk and sugar that you turn into a custard. Oh my gosh. Yes, please. Please, please, please. I might have to take this home. Like, you get curries. There's just really beautiful, colorful pictures in this book. I think if you are at all interested in Asian cuisines and you're looking for a way to cut down on your meat and dairy consumption, absolutely check this book out. It's beautiful, and it really gives you the chance to kind of veganize the meals that you already enjoy, pad thai, curry, things like that. Then another part of the world here, the French Market Cookbook, and this one, as the name implies, is French based. Again, really beautiful pictures. It is organized by the seasons as well. So, like, here's the beginning of spring, which, aren't you ready for that? I'm ready for that. But then you have all of the spring recipes in there, and you know that they're going to be seasonally appropriate. Yeah. It's beautiful. Everything in here looks amazing. I'm looking at the fall thing here. It's like, there's a lot of root vegetables. Well, it's the fall. But green bean, red rice, and almond salad, that sounds great. So if, maybe right now you're thinking French food sounds better than Asian food, check out the French market. You're still going to get a whole bunch of awesome vegetarian options, but in a totally different cuisine. Then we have Vegetarian Cooking from the Culinary Institute of America. This is a big one here. This, as you would expect from the Culinary Institute, has a bunch of tips on cooking and prepping and all of that. It's got gorgeous pictures, and it's like a coffee table sized book. And then this one too is broken down into the types of foods. So you've got starters and sides, salads and sandwiches, beans, tofu, tempeh, seitan, and eggs. That's basically all of your proteins in that one. So this gives you a different way, again, to look at it. But a nice thing here is that they have these sections in here like how to make it your own. So this one is with legumes, but it tells you what bean, how long you would need to soak it, how long you need to cook it, and different cooking methods and flavoring suggestions. So you can swap out in recipes. It might call for, black beans, and you could be like, black beans, whatever, I don't have those on hand, or I'm tired of black beans, and you could be like, well, instead I'm going to do like kidney beans. And it'll give you the different information that you need to make that swap happen. So this is a really helpful book if you're newer to more improvisational vegetarian cooking. I think you're gonna do well with this one. Check out these skewers. Those look good, right? Oh my gosh. All the things. Ugh. Gnocchi. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So good. And then we have the Vilna Vegetarian Cookbook. This one is really cool. It doesn't fit my rules of the really pretty pictures, but there's a good reason for that. This is a translation and updated version of a 1938 cookbook that was written in Yiddish and published in Lithuania. So you're getting, the update is that, it's written for modern cooks to be able to use it in their kitchens, because things have changed since 1938, how we do things, and the types of equipment we have in our kitchens has certainly changed. But all of the recipes are still there. They're just updated so that you can actually make them in your modern kitchen. But there's really lovely illustrations in it of, different plants and things like that. But there's not pictures of the dishes themselves. So if you're interested in more history kind of cooking, or if you're interested in Lithuanian or Yiddish vegetarian dishes, definitely give this a look. I think that this is a really fascinating way to cook, is to go back and see what people were making in the past and recreate them ourselves. So if you're interested in that, definitely check this one out. And I saved my favorite one here for last. This is Bish Bash Bosh, and I had never heard of this book. I'd never heard of these guys, but I love the way that they put together this cookbook. So the book itself is organized like other ones by, dish type. But then in the entry, so here you have, there's quick ones, there's big ones, there's feasts, right? But Let me find the page for you here. Check this out. They gave you this menu section sort of thing here where there's a picture of each recipe, but they're broken down into high protein or British classics or Tex-Mex. So you can decide, like, I'm looking for a Tex-Mex recipe, and you're going to come here to the Tex-Mex section. You can see the pictures of all of the food. You can pick it out, and then it's going to tell you what page it's on. So even though the book itself is not organized by different, I want to say genres, which foods aren't in genres, but you know what I mean. Even though it's not organized that way, they've given you this option also so that you can use it that way. And I love that. I think that is so cool and so helpful, because most of the time I kind of have an idea in my head of what I want to make, not, like just I want to make a soup and then I have to look at every single soup recipe. Like, I already have an idea of what I want it to taste like. I just need to find a recipe for it, right? Check out these Brussels sprouts. I know Brussels sprouts are kind of either you love them or you hate them. I love them, and those look awesome. They've got mushrooms. So good. And so I definitely recommend that you check this one out. It just is, it's beautiful. The food looks amazing, and I love the way that they've organized it. That was a quick run through of several of the vegetarian and vegan cookbooks that we have. Obviously, we have a bunch more, so this is just dipping your toe in. If you are looking for more vegetarian and vegan options, definitely come and check out our cookbook section. We have a huge cookbook section here at the library. And, just feel free to be creative and to try new things. I think that's what's so fun about cooking, is that the rules in cooking, not baking's a whole different thing. I'm not even going to talk about baking. But in cooking, I think that the rules are really flexible. It's really easy to be creative and to make different swaps and try things out. And that can be intimidating if you're not sure how it's going to turn out, right? So having these cookbooks, especially the ones that give you kind of guidance to see if you swap out this thing, here's what you're going to do, is really helpful. And I think that'll give you more confidence in your vegetable journey. So I think I definitely am looking to add more vegetables and more color into my diet now that spring is here. I'm sure that I'm not the only one. If you're with me on that, come and check these out. As always, if you are looking for more recommendations, you can go to our website, eastonpl.org, and submit a personalized recommendation request form. For cookbooks or anything else, let us know what you like, what you're interested in, and we'll give you some recommendations that you can follow up on. Also, make sure that you're reading along with us on the 2021 EAPL Reading Challenge on Bean Stack. This month's theme is Girl Power. So maybe you could find a cookbook written by a woman and use that as your March book. Until next time, happy reading and happy cooking.